Well, the world is facing tremendous challenges at present, and we are in a period of uncertainty, ambiguity, and transformation, which we have not seen since the transition from the Middle Ages and the Renaissance to the modern period. This means that practically everything that we have taken for granted, especially since the end of World War II, during the second half of the 20th century and the first decades of the 21st century, is now being called into question. We have to get accustomed to a complete transformation of the setting in which human activities take place. We have seen, for example, all the implications of climate change, environmental deterioration, in addition to what we face in the development of new technologies, artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, new materials, the energy transition, and so on, plus demographic changes all over the world, which are prompting migrations in a scale which hasn't been seen in many, many decades. In other aspects, employment, economic growth, and so on, social conditions, we are also seeing changes and modifications. What all of this means is tremendous challenges for our capacities to govern. The capacity to govern not only countries, but also to govern the world and the various regions at a supranational level. That is the reason why meetings like the one we are having in Madrid at the beginning of December, under the title of Collective Action for the Future, are so essential. Without collective action, without setting the direction in which our societies in plural are going to evolve over the next decades, or, as some people say, even the possibility of our own extinction as a species may be in the cards. So therefore, agreeing on new governance arrangements at the regional, global, and international level is absolutely necessary. We have both traditional and non-traditional challenges to global security. I have mentioned quite a few, but let me add also the various armed conflicts that we are seeing in different parts of the world, not only in Europe, between Russia and Ukraine, but also in the Middle East and certainly in Africa, and there are also many tensions in different parts of the world. So the geopolitical landscape is changing very, very rapidly. The world economy is entering into a period of turbulence, financial deglobalization. The deglobalization of trade as well is creating both dangers and opportunities, and most countries have to adapt to this new international economic situation, both in finance and trade. The United Nations system and all other international organizations are showing the strain of being challenged in major ways for which they were not designed in the first place and certainly are not prepared. Questions like artificial intelligence and green technologies, as I mentioned before, sustainable developments, and the difficulties that we have seen recently to agree on financial measures and financial agreements and arrangements to support the energy transition in developing countries so they can cope with the challenges of climate change. The various summits we have had over the last year have not agreed as yet on ways to finance this extremely complex transition that we all have to face in the future. Finally, simply to complete the picture, this is the first time in the history of our species, of human history, that we are able to communicate everywhere. We are able to communicate, each of us, with anybody else all over the planet instantaneously. We have not been accustomed to such an intensive exchange of messages, points of view, opinions, many of which are false or distorted. So we are now, if you wish, involved in or really surrounded by a fog of information which we struggle to make sense of. So, let me repeat, the main challenges are to design international agreements, global arrangements, so that humanity as a whole can begin to cope with the challenges which are unprecedented in human history. This is the first time I will be attending the Imperial Springs International Forum, so I look forward to meet leaders from many countries and leaders from the emerging power, which is China, and to see what are their views and whether we can agree on some directions that may help us to cope with the tremendous challenges of a fundamental change of epoch in human history.